Welcome back to the Talk Yours podcast. We're just a few weeks out from the start of the NBA season, an exciting time of year. October has come.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Dude, we're recording this tonight, so I'm trying my best to actually get pumped. But I am so excited.
We're trying to get
Eastern
hyped
Conference. My favorite team's the Eastern Conference. We're about to predict it. We're gonna give each about 3 or 4 hot takes. There are gonna be some good ones. At least for me, it's gonna be some positive ones and some negative ones. Some super hot, some kind of mild. We're gonna do that. Predict the Eastern Conference 1 through 15. Some of them are kind of obvious, but honestly, most spots in the East this year are not super obvious.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's a few obvious ones, but you look at the injuries and you look at what's happened over the course of really the last 6 months. The playoffs and everything really took its toll on a lot of teams. So and the off season too was really big for the East. I think there is going to be a lot of movement.
So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be so subliminal the entire time. 5-minute intro.
Yeah.
Let's go. You want to start with 15?
Yeah, let's start with 15.
All right, I got the Brooklyn Nets.
I also have the Brooklyn Nets.
I think they're honestly like they should be 15. I think I understand there's other bad East teams, but anyone who doesn't have the Nets at 15, I mean, it's led by Cam Thomas, Michael Porter Jr., and they have 5 rookies, 5 first-round rookies who are, I believe, all 5 are on full contracts. I don't think any of them are even like 2-way contracts. So that just goes to show that they don't care about winning. They just care about developing their players, which is fine because they just drafted for a lot of their draft picks last offseason when they traded Mikal Bridges away. They are actually, fully going into the rebuild, which I guess they kind of did last year, but then, unfortunately they did fall to pick 8. And then drafted someone super controversial in Igor Demon. But yeah, overall, this team has a lot of scores, a lot of playmakers, but besides Nicholas Claxton, not a single defender. Not a single defender that I like. Maybe Noah Clowney, but even then, he's like a projection. Like he's never, shown good NBA defense overall. This team, I think by game 30 or 40, they are going to be playing like all rookies. Not that MPJ is going to completely sit, but also my personal, and this isn't even one of my hot takes. This is just a take that I have. I think MPJ is going to kind of show that he really isn't too impressive. Like in my opinion, I'm not going to say Jokic made him because there's a reason he was drafted so high. There's a reason that he could have been drafted higher without injuries, but there's a reason that people online call him Mr. What do they call him? It's like don't swing that rock.
Michael never swing the rock, Porter Jr.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Because luckily they have a bunch of playmakers now. They got Kobe Buffkin. You know what? Maybe the Nets are a playoff team. They got Kobe Buffkin.
Okay. No, I agree with you. If the Nets are smart, they will be a horrible team this year because they should play their young guys. You drafted way too many of them, but you need to play them and you need to give them minutes to give them the chance to develop. The stupidest and also most Nets thing they could do is draft all those guys and then play Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. 35 minutes a night and not give those guys any run, right?
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. is going to average what he's going to average. I'd assume he's going to average somewhere in the low to mid 20s, honestly, maybe on really bad efficiency, but he's going to score more for sure. And if you're a box score watcher, you're probably going to take it as a jump, but I agree with you. Michael Porter Jr. is not
score more. Call me crazy, but I really think that I have never seen any sort of window of shot creation from this guy. And his shot creation is just shooting over others.
Corby, he's going to score 24 points a game on 37% shooting, but he's going to score 24 points a game.
You think so? Okay.
I don't... Listen, there are 2 guys on that team that want to shoot the ball more than anybody else in the league. And let's just be honest, Michael Porter Jr. is bigger than Cam Thomas. He will just take the ball from him if he has to. I mean, and look,
when you put it like that, I actually do agree with you. Yeah, there is no one else to take shots, but
which is honestly the worst case scenario for the Nets is let's draft 5 rookies and then have 2 guys on the team who are going to take every single shot.
But to be fair, they drafted 3 different just passers. I think 2 different point guards.
Maybe the core of their team is Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. But the Nets don't move me in any type of way. They might be the most fun team of all time to win less than 20 games. But I'll watch their games because I think they'll be fun to watch, but they don't move me in any type of good basketball kind of way.
I'm not watching their games until they play the rookies because I know who Cam Thomas is. And by the way, Cam Thomas is a bucket.
Yeah.
But, he's still,
You're telling me watching Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. shot chuck for 48 minutes is not fun?
It is fun.
That's not peak November NBA basketball.
Maybe November, I'll give him a couple games. But yeah, once we get to teams who are competing for the playoffs, I'm not tuning in. But who do you have at 14? I don't want to talk about the 15 team this much.
At 14, whatever. At 14th, let me double check. Yeah, I have Charlotte.
I have Charlotte.
Charlotte, I bought in a little bit last year. Yeah, I think I had them at like 9 or something.
You might have had him like 8 or 7 or 8.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm pretty sure I had them as one of the like lower 2 play-in teams.
Maybe you did, yeah.
Whatever. Even if I had them at 8, I can accept that. I bought in a little bit. I thought LaMelo Ball is going to be healthy. Bridges is back. Miller is going to be healthy. They just have the worst culture in the NBA, and it's plain and simple. Nobody on that team really seems to care about winning, and if they do, they go there and they're made to not care about winning. LaMelo Ball is the leader of that team, and that kind of speaks for itself. And you know what? I like LaMelo Ball as a basketball talent. I enjoy watching him play basketball, but would I want him as the example of my team, because this is year 6 now for him? He is a veteran. No, I don't want LaMelo Ball setting an example for the rest of my team.
And you can't depend on LaMelo Ball to be healthy. That's
Also, they lost Mark Williams and replaced him with Mason Plumlee,
who might be like the team's only center outside of Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, because they lost Nurkic and Mark Williams, which Nurkic isn't like this great center, but
They even had
he was
Nick
a
Richards
body.
off the bench, and then they traded him for nothing.
Yeah, they traded
midway through the season.
And they have Colin Sexton now, who's just like, another Terry Rozier type of player.
It's funny that some of their new additions, and he's not too new, but like Trey Mann was a guy who only played losing basketball with the Thunder, and maybe that was unfortunate timing, maybe it wasn't. You talk about Colin Sexton, he's never won, he's never made the playoffs in his NBA career. The only winner that they've added in the last couple of years was like Grant Williams, and Grant Williams is still injured, and he's probably gonna be injured for still a little bit because unfortunately I think it was an ACL.
Is Grant Williams really a winner, or did he just play on the Boston Celtics?
I don't know. He made some winning plays in my opinion. But then he did go to, was it Dallas after?
He hasn't been the same since he missed those free throws. I just
Both
plain and simple. Yeah, both of them.
Both of them. One other thing I wanted to add is actually I don't think anything else. No, the Hornets suck.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about the Hornets.
I will say they got some buckets though. It's just the problem is like, yeah, who are they?
Of course they do. But they have the exact same problem as the Nets, except they're a little more talented.
And their defensive anchor is way worse. At least the Nets have Claxton, who, by the way, we didn't
Yep.
talk about, but he's still good.
Look, there's
Mason Plumlee's their starting center. It's 2026.
there'll be 3 weeks where LaMelo averages like 33 points a game and hits like some crazy shots, and people will get hyped again. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying into it. Talk to me at the end of the year. That'll be number 14.
Yeah.
Number 13. I have my category, so I'll just baseline it with that. My basement dwellers are 14 and 15. These next 2 teams are what I would like to call my competitive losers, right? These are teams I don't see making a play-in spot, but I can see them giving some good teams a hard time, depending on the night, and they might also be playing for something come like February, March. Do I think they'll make the playoffs or the play-in? No, but I think they'll be competitive. Starting with that, number 13 is the Washington Wizards for me.
Real quick, I have the Wizards at 13, but technically I don't. I didn't look back. I actually do have the Hornets at 13 and the Wizards at 14, but I think I just said what I believed. I actually kind of do believe the Wizards will be better.
Speak from your heart.
And my heart.
Do not give the Hornets any sort of
No, the only reason I had the Wizards, actually at one point I did have the Wizards probably around like 11 or 12, and then I really reeled it back because they have some decent veterans. They have CJ McCollum, who apparently during media day said that this season is looking to be like his best season yet. Like he feels like the most ready out of any season, which is a bit crazy because you're like 33 years old. They have Chris Middleton technically.
Is he only 33?
I actually don't know.
He's got to be older than
if
that.
If you want to look up how old he is, I mean,
you're telling me he runs the NBA Players Association and he's younger than like Damian Lillard?
I think so. I mean, he was drafted in like 2013. That was 13 years. Yeah.
He's 34. He'll be 30. Oh, he just turned 34.
Oh,
shares
so I was almost right.
He shares a birthday with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Happy birthday, Cam and CJ McCollum.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I can't be too mad at that.
No, but the reason I had them really high at first is I actually believe in a lot of their players. They have those veterans. I like guys like Bilal Coulibaly. I like Corey Kispert. I think Alex Sarr is about to take a huge jump. But at the end of the day, they really, I'm a guy who, if you watch this podcast, I'm really high on teams having good defensive centers. They don't have a center. Alex Sarr, in my opinion, isn't even a center, and he's their only center.
No, he's a tweener. I mean, he falls into that sort of Evan Mobley type of like archetype where you don't want him to be your like center.
Yeah,
he's a great like power forward tweener, whatever.
In my opinion, he's more of a Jaren Jackson Jr. And the reason I kind of say that is just because Mobley's actually like a good rebounder. Alex Sarr, like his frame and just like what we've seen from him so far. Like I think last year he averaged 6 rebounds per game, and then I think when I was looking at the fantasy projections, they said 8 rebounds per game. He might be like Jaren, where Jaren has never gone above 7. I don't think Jaren's ever, maybe even like barely 6.
I mean but I would run Jaren at the 5 personally if you had like a good rebound, just from a defensive perspective. Minus the fouls, but
I think Jaren was always best when he had Steven Adams next to him, personally. But
yeah. But anyway, to move on, yeah, Wizards have some good pieces.
Also, I'm a huge Trey Johnson guy.
Yeah, I think we were talking about in our draft video. Like I think we both were really high on Trey Johnson.
Yeah, and I don't think most rookies are winning players. That's why we have the Wizards so low. But I just want to make it clear that I am a Trey Johnson guy, and when he's a star, I was a believer.
Yeah, I mean.
And then they have guys like
Bub Carrington,
George,
Bub Carrington, Keyshawn, like
AJ Johnson.
They have a lot of guys that could have a good year, but none of these guys have like played together for any consistent amount of time, and chemistry is really important. Like you can have all these guys that can score, but can they play together?
But their young core is amazing. They might even be like a top 6 watch in my opinion in the East. Even if they're losing games, I think they're way more fun than like a Nets.
Yeah, I want to see what Star does, and I want to see what they all do. But let's not spend too much time. We have our consensus. Number 12, I have Chicago.
I have Chicago too.
Yeah, so let's not spend too much time on this.
I don't want to talk about Chicago, to be honest. They're the exact same.
There's
team.
nothing.
I'm really hoping Matas takes a jump. He said he wants to be most improved player. If he is, I will be happy because I've always believed in Matas. I wanted him on the Hawks, even over Risaje, which I regret now, but that was how I felt at the time. And but besides that, and them drafting Noah Senge, who's known for getting postered and making a funny face while he was getting postered, they literally changed nothing.
Funny face doesn't even begin to describe it.
No, it's bad.
That was not even
bad face.
It was like terror. Like I have never seen that much fear in a human being's face before.
No. So besides that though, they literally changed nothing. Josh Giddey did get extended. I think it was $30 million a year. Good for him. I don't think he's going to take some huge jump because he's still a player who doesn't have much of a jump shot, much athleticism, much defense.
Listen, we know who Josh Giddey is. Like, and
I think
he's a 14 point per game, like, good distributor, not good on defense. He is not like a guy. He's not a winning player on the Chicago Bulls. Maybe on a team like, I don't know, the Oklahoma City Thunder, he can work really well when he's surrounded by defenders, but he's just not. I mean, that's the thing. I look at the team and I go, Montas is cool, Kobe White is cool, Josh Giddey is whatever. No one else moves me. I'm sorry. Vucevic, yeah, he's cool in fantasy, but I don't really believe in him as a center to lead a team to any sort of success.
I will say the definition of consistency. That dude, for the last 12 years of his career, has been like 20 and 12.
Does exactly what he is supposed to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
And
it's never winning basketball. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've agreed with everything so far. Hopefully it changes.
I think our next one we might disagree on.
Who's your number 11?
My number 11 is Miami.
Oh, I have the Boston Celtics.
Really?
Yeah, I have them missing the play-in entirely. Just talk about Miami first because I am interested. I had them a couple of spots higher.
Yeah,
I want to hear it.
Well, this is, and I'll pose a question that's rhetorical because I'm just going to answer it. But what is supposed to move me about the Miami Heat? Exactly. You added Norman Powell. Good for you. He's not going to do what he did last year. He barely did what he did last year for the last half of the season. Like he had a great first half.
Yeah.
And then people got healthy, and then his efficiency dropped, and then he didn't do anything in the playoffs.
When was the last time the Heat was this low though?
I mean, I get it.
Were they ever this low in the Jimmy? I mean,
but they've slowly that core has slowly been like eroding away. Bam is a great player. Tyler Hero is a good player. I saw they extended Jovic for like 4 years, $15 million a year, which was a weird deal to me. But
that's okay. I saw a tweet on Twitter or X or whatever, and it said that might be like the first ever fair rookie extension contract. Because most of the time when rookies have a contract extension, they are almost always overpaid. Unless they're like a max player superstar,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was like, $15 million a year in the next 4 years. Like $15 million in the next 4 years is like $10 million in the previous 4 years. You know what I mean?
It's not crazy. I mean,
it's not a bad contract, especially if you think he'll be good. There's no way a $15 million contract will be untradeable per year.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at the way they performed after Jimmy Butler left. They were not play-in team. They were a borderline play-in team. This is moving into the category of teams that I consider to be like play-in teams. I think Miami is a play-in caliber team. I just don't think that there are not 10 teams that are better than them. And I just Tyler Hero's going to do what he's going to do. Bam's going to do what he's going to do. I hope Kel'el Ware takes a leap because I really liked his game last year. But there just isn't much about their team that truly moves me, especially given what I saw last year after
I don't think
they
anything
traded
needs
Jimmy.
to move you though. Eric Spoelstra is a good enough coach. Eric Spoelstra is a better coach than whatever teams you have in the next 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, but it moves me more
They have
to,
Andrew Wiggins
to what
now.
the Boston Celtics have going on than, and you can give your reasoning for the Celtics obviously here in a minute, but I don't know, man. Boston still has some dogs.
Miami has,
You
I think Kel'el Ware barely showed what he's capable of last year. I think he'll take an even bigger jump, especially if the Heat believe in him from the very first game of the season. That duo of him and Bam are amazing. Bam's going to be healthy. Yeah, Tyler Hero's hurt, but it's overall, like, it doesn't matter. Injuries don't matter for the Heat. They're always going to find a way to be like an 8 or 9 seed.
That's just
7
not a good
seed.
enough reason for me. I mean, every team that does that, because that's been the Chicago Bulls for the last like few years, is somehow they find their way into being like a semi-decent team and maybe making the play-in.
So that's what the Heat are. That's what.
But I don't see that. And I don't.
Team.
Every team eventually falls off that a little bit.
Think about
and
how-
the Miami's been holding on to this. I just feel like a year too long, and I don't think they're going to be that good
Think
this
about
year.
how broken the Miami Heat were last year. I mean, seriously, Jimmy Butler was like the biggest locker room cancer that we've like ever seen. Like, I'm talking about like when he was on the court, he was barely trying. He wasn't trying to play games. He was verbally, calling the team bad, saying he doesn't want to play, and still through all those headaches. And Tyler Hero and a bunch of the Heat players in interviews once Jimmy got traded were calling Jimmy out. Even through all of that, even like, because Jimmy had this attitude straight from training camp. This wasn't something that just, or maybe it was like a couple games into the season. Like, it was very early, and the fact that they were able to get over that, Andrew Wiggins is now going to have a whole offseason with the Heat versus just randomly getting traded into a whole new role. They have what? They have Norman Powell now, who, by the way, was amazing last season. He had an injury, but besides that, they have Davion Mitchell, who I'm not gonna say he's gonna take a huge jump, but he's a decent starting point guard. Trust me. In that Hawks Heat playing game, that dude was the man. Apparently, it still kind of pisses me off. I hate the Miami Heat too, but I just kind of have to give them credit because no matter what, it's like you said, if the Bulls are a reliant team to either barely make or barely miss the play-in, then the Heat are a reliant team to always make the playoffs as the 7 or 8 seed.
And now I'm going to give you a chance to say what you're going to say, but by that logic, you're putting the Boston Celtics of all teams at 11?
I'm going to keep prefacing one of the most important things about NBA basketball, and it's having a quality center. They literally do not have big men. I actually think that if they kept Luke Cornett, which, by the way, we're saying the name Luke Cornett as if this is super valuable, but he would have been the starting center for the Celtics and actually made him a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure their starting center is so I don't know how to say his first name, but Keta.
Yeah. He was not bad.
He's not bad, but
Like,
he's not. I'd rather.
I don't know that I would
I'd
rather
rather
have
have
Luke.
Mason Plumlee. Like, honestly, I really don't think he had. Also, he's like an undersized big, isn't he? He's like 6'10".
I think I need to take an antacid after hearing that.
Overall, the Celtics. But by the way, that's not only starting center, but that's backup center. The Boston Celtics, I think they have some good players, obviously. They have Anthony Simons, they have Derek White, they have Jaylen Brown, and they have Peyton Pritchard. I was even thinking of maybe having a hot take about Pritchard, but I do think kind of Anthony Simons ruins that. Like, I think if they didn't trade for Simons this offseason and they still, got rid of Drew, then I think Peyton Pritchard does take another jump because I actually believe in him to be like a starting caliber point guard. Like, I don't think that's a crazy take. But overall, yeah, 3 of their 4 best players are guards, and that's just something that in this league, it's hard to win a lot of games. I think they have their own picks, so they have a reason to not go too hard. I think there's other players where there's a chance, Tyler Hero comes back in 3 months, but I don't think there's any way that Jason Tatum returns this season.
No.
There's no way. So I don't think there's too much incentive for Boston to just make the play-in. Versus a team like Indiana. Indiana just made the finals.
But you don't think Boston, these are still NBA players. You don't think they still want to compete?
But-
Jaylen Brown has pride. Like, Jaylen Brown is a finals MVP. You're telling me that guy doesn't have pride?
He does, but I will say they are one Jaylen Brown injury away from tanking. The Miami Heat, I'm telling you, anyone could get hurt on the Heat and they will never tank. They will always make that play-in spot. They always will.
I mean, relying on other teams getting hurt and tanking, but if they don't, that's the thing. I don't. Like, I can look at
Who's their backup forward? Like, who are their forwards off the bench? It's Jordan Walsh. It's Baylor Shireman. Who's like even like a decent veteran? Like,
Listen, man, it doesn't even matter because they're going to put up 63s a game. Like that, it doesn't matter who is on the court or what they're going to do. And I'll get to that later. They're going to put up so many threes a game that they're just going to win or lose games based off of that. It's not even going to be a talent thing.
that team was never a team of depth, which is fine if you have Jason Tatum and you have Porzingis and you have Drew Holiday. That's the thing. They lost a lot of pieces.
They did, yeah, which is why I don't have them anywhere close to where they were last year. But I don't know, to put this Miami Heat team above them, and not even above them, but to put, I think it's more to put Boston out of the play-in altogether, to me is crazy.
I just think they have reason to take a year away.
Yeah.
So I think if any of these teams have any sort of incentive to tank, I know we have a friend, his name is Logan, he's a Heat fan, and he loves the idea of the Heat tanking, but I don't think they ever will. Like, that's just not Heat culture. The whole Heat culture thing is a real thing.
Yeah, when was the last? They won't tank as long as Spoelstra's their head coach.
No, and they'll win games as long as Spoelstra is, because I don't think head
And
coach
Pat
is-
Riley's their GM. Like, as long as those two are there, they're not going to
No,
tank.
they are stubborn. They're not trying to lose. That's
Pat
not
Riley
what
will.
does.
I think when Pat Riley dies is when the Heat will tank. Like, I'm not even joking.
And he might
that
never.
dude is an NBA legend. Like, as a coach and a GM, he's not going to tank.
No, generational winner right there.
Yeah.
But we could go ahead and move to 10.
yeah.
Because I don't even have the Heat here. I have the Pacers at 10.
Yep, I do too.
Okay.
It seems like a fair spot for them.
So yeah, we don't have to argue, debate this too much, but pretty much Halliburton's hurt, and okay, I'm not counting this as one of my hot takes, but I kind of have this take that I really don't think that Andrew Nembhard is as good as people think. I don't think he's going to take this huge jump. I think his stats might go up a little bit because obviously more usage. But overall, like, he's been a guy who, when he underperforms, nobody cares because his name is Andrew Nembhard. But he has had some amazing moments in the playoffs where people recognize him. I think a lot of people think that he'll not obviously replace Halliburton. No one's going to think that, but they think he'll take this big jump or he's better than he really is. And overall, they're going to miss Halliburton. They really are. Like, honestly, I could really see TJ McConnell being the starting point guard, which in my opinion, I don't like TJ McConnell. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna respect how good he is because he balled in the playoffs. But overall, they're gonna be enough to make the play in. Obviously, we both agree with that. Because again, Carlisle's a good coach. They have depth, but it's also the fact they are the 10 seed and not any higher because they're another team with no good big men. I mean, we can't be relying on Jay Huff. I'm sorry, and I liked what I saw in Memphis.
I mean, the thing is, they lost Miles Turner, obviously, but they also lost Thomas Bryant, who showed a lot in that playoff run in terms of being like a high energy hustle guy. And that's, way better than having nobody at all.
No,
so
I think right now they're back up 5, and he's a good player, but not a center. Might be Obi Toppin or James Wiseman. Those might be the two options for backup.
Hey,
center.
man, James Wiseman redemption in the season. I
But
guess.
James Wiseman, I'm not totally kept up, but at one point I saw there was reports where it's not even a guarantee that he's on the roster to start the season.
I believe that.
Like, he's fighting for that roster spot, which is unfortunate because he did get injured.
He's coming
But I
off
thought-
what, an Achilles? Was it an Achilles too,
think
or
it
was
was
it an ACL?
It might have been Achilles.
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, a gruesome injury.
Yeah.
And even then, before the injury, like, how confident were you in James Wiseman?
Not very. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend that. I mean, I watched him as a Warriors fan, and he was a guy who showed flashes, but I don't. It just depends on what role he's willing to accept. If he's willing to play the backup center role or the rotational center role.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy whose skill set has always kind of, and his mentality and his pedigree has always kind of, I think, incentivized him to play a bigger role or try to play a bigger role. Yeah, not much more to say about the Pacers. I think the guy that benefits the most from the absence of these other guys in terms of his statistical output is probably Benedict Mathurin.
I think so.
I think he'll probably take a big statistical leap, whether or not that has to do with his quality of play. I don't know.
But he could easily average 20.
I think easily. I think he might end up being the top scorer on that team, even over Siakam. Because Siakam's a guy who averages 21, 22. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to jump up to
If I had to bet,
26,
I'd take
27.
Siakam, but there's a chance.
There's a
Mathurin.
chance. I mean, but anyway, let's just move on to number 9. Getting to a team that we kind of talked about already. I've got the Boston Celtics.
At the Miami Heat.
Yeah, so we just flipped them. And honestly, this is kind of like the part, these teams wouldn't even make the playoffs if we were in the old format. So what are we really talking about here?
Yeah.
Honestly. But yeah, Boston, I just think their 3-point shooting and that philosophy is going to keep them in a lot of games. And it's going to put them out of games too. But Jaylen Brown is still a good player. The reason why I have them low, and it was funny because I was actually, crafting my argument to to why I had them so low, because I was kind of expecting you to have them higher.
Really higher than
Like I thought you would have
9?
them like around 7 or something
Oh,
like that.
no.
But yeah, so I had them at 9, and I think Derek White, a lot of people think he's going to take a big jump this year. I'm not 100% sure about that, because Derek White is a guy who is the perfect complementary piece, right? But as we know in the NBA, complementary pieces don't just become better, or their statistical output doesn't just increase because they get into a bigger role. Let's look at a guy like Jordan Poole, right? Jordan Poole was in the perfect situation in Golden State. And then he goes to Washington, and people are like, he's going to take a massive leap in his output, but he didn't. Right. I mean, he put up about the same numbers, maybe a little bit better, a worse efficiency, right? But that's because sometimes your skill set determines that you're able to play within a certain role with a certain level of defensive attention on a team, and that's where you're most valuable. And just because you get more touches doesn't mean you're going to do better. And I think Derek White might kind of be that guy. I think he still will average like 15, 16 points. He might even average like 18 points, 19, but it'll be less efficient. I don't think he's going to have this huge like scoring increase with the same efficiency, because that just doesn't make sense in my mind.
So who's going up the most?
Probably Jaylen Brown.
You think he could be like a 28 point per game guy?
I mean, I think honestly, like I'm looking at the guys, maybe Peyton Pritchard, because Pritchard's going to get more shots. I don't know what he averaged last year. I know it was pretty good for him to get 6th man of the year consideration.
It was probably around 15, but he was insanely efficient.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of like of all the guys, like Jaylen Brown is obviously your first option, but who is the true second option? I mean, people will say it's Derek White.
You could say Anthony Simons.
Say Anthony Simons, could say Peyton Pritchard. I think they have a lot of scoring. I think they have a lot of shooting. I think they have. I think Keita is a serviceable big man, and I think they are a team with a lot of pride. They're the Boston Celtics. Those fans are always going to show out. They're always going to have home court advantage, no matter what time of year it is. That is not a fan base that is ever going to like give up on that team, right? They're really dedicated to that team. And I just think those aspects push them to being the 9 seed. I know, a crazy high place to put them, the 9 seed, right? They get a home play-in game. But anyway, yeah, I got Boston at 9. You got Miami at 9, I assume, for a lot of the reasons you mentioned earlier, with Kel'el Ware taking that jump, and Heat culture pushing that point. So,
Andrew Wiggins. And I've always liked the young guys that they've drafted. They also got Capuchotis, who I don't think rookies are winning players, but I think that was a steal.
I don't know how much run he gets this year, but I do like him. I really do like him as a prospect.
Yeah. Also, I just looked at the Celtics depth chart, and they actually do have a decent amount of bigs. It's just the fact that none of them are good. They have Chris Boucher, they have Keta, they have Luka Garza, and they have Xavier Tillman's back.
But maybe they just run a big by committee type thing. Just run them all out there and have them play super hard for like 20-ish minutes.
Maybe they actually did run, I think, a couple double big lineups. Well, especially with Time Lord and Horford years and years ago. But I think even last year they might have done that.
And Tillman has actually started shooting threes. So I could see them running a double big with Tillman at the 4. Yeah. It just depends on what they want to do.
It's just no good defensive anchors, but yeah,
now,
we don't have to talk.
Let's get into the teams that are actually real playoff teams. Number 8. I don't know where you've got them. I have the Milwaukee Bucks.
I actually also have the Milwaukee
Jesus
Bucks.
Christ, dude.
I know, we agree too much.
You know what? Let's not even like go too deep on this, because it's Giannis. If this team didn't have Giannis, they might be one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference.
Do you want to do hot takes while we're recording this, or do you or just do it at the end? Because one of my hot takes is about the Bucks.
I say let's just do it at the end. Let's just have it.
Okay. I'll wait until
But yeah,
the Milwaukee Bucks, besides Giannis and Miles Turner, are garbage. I literally think every other player besides maybe I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Honestly, AJ Green, every time I watch him, he's low-key a hooper. Like because he's a shooter and he tries hard. He's not gonna create or anything. And
he's got that white man release.
Oh yeah,
he like that little bit of an unconventional, but like
yeah, it's not like the prettiest, but it's like it's something you see at the rec. Like
it is like it's one of those things that you watch in like shoot around before you play someone, and you've never played him before, and you're like I can't shoot. Like I'll let him shoot a couple, and then he's lethal, But it's just they. I went and looked at like their free agent moves again just to refresh my memory, because I'm like, did they do something? No, they literally brought back every single player from last year's team almost.
It pisses me off because I was gonna have a hot take about like, oh, this Bucks role player is actually really good and he's gonna take a jump. No, I couldn't find a single guy. Maybe I'd say AJ Green. Maybe that'd have to be the player because not a single other guy. Because I mean, I believed in Tyler Smith before he got drafted, but I haven't seen a second of NBA minutes of Tyler Smith. So I'm not going to say him. I'm not going to say he's going to take some jump.
Yeah.
But it's the same team. There's two good players. Maybe you want to say Bobby Portis, but I'm not a Bobby Portis guy. Two good players, AJ Green. And then like Kevin Porter Jr. was good when he was on the Cavs and he was on the Rockets. I don't know how much I believe. The thing is, this is his chance to prove himself.
There are two problems with the Milwaukee Bucks. Number one, this team has no continuity. They just took a bunch of guys that they thought sounded nice and they slapped them together around Giannis. Number two, Doc Rivers is still the head coach. These are the two biggest problems, and they're not going away anytime soon. So hopefully they go away before Giannis does. That's all I can ask for Milwaukee.
Honestly.
And that's all I got to say about that. You got anything for them?
The Bucks being this high is a testament to how good Giannis is.
It really is, yeah.
Because roster-wise, if you take Giannis off the team, which is obviously you don't take $60 million off the team.
Yeah.
You take they're better. They're not better than the Wizards. No,
Miles Turner is their best player if Giannis is not on the team.
which is insane.
Yeah. Moving on. Number 7, I have the Toronto Raptors.
And I actually don't have the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, you have them
I have the Raptors
higher.
being a playoff team.
You're high on them.
I have the 76ers.
Makes sense.
I'm just going to explain mine real quick. So, at first, I think the first time I made my predictions thing and I wrote it all down, I had the Sixers as like a 4 or 5 seed. But then, obviously, the Jared McCain injury did happen. We get more news of how Joel Embiid isn't going to be ready for when the season starts. And then even when he is, like, let's be real, throughout the season, Joel Embiid's going to rest games. I understand in the media day, he said that his priority is to play as many games as he can, but he will rest backs-to-backs, and he might even rest games that aren't back-to-backs, if I had to guess, because that's how bad his injuries have been. There's a lot of doctors who say, like, he only has a couple years left in the league, because, I mean, yeah, you're 7 foot, you're 280, and you get all those knee injuries. I mean, it's terrible. Even with all that being said, though, I would have them as a higher seed, but their team is not only young, but it's really, I don't think they mesh very good. I think they have a bunch of weird veterans. Like the fact that Kyle Lowry is their point guard too is insane to me. The fact that he is not only signed with what is it, like Peacock or Amazon Prime. I think it's Amazon Prime.
Yeah, he signed with Amazon
But
Prime.
then also he's in the NBA. But then he's not going to be good on the court. Like it's just
Which is like, it's kind of like a Draymond Green thing with signing with TNT, I figure, but
yeah, like
you know,
he's not going
whatever.
to take it too seriously, but even that's going to take a little bit away from his actual game, which already, I mean, respect to Kyle Lowry because in his prime he was a hooper, but he's like 38. Like
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry is old, and he
Man, all I'm saying is take this however you will. With Kyle Lowry specifically, if he stops hitting the gym, we will notice. We will know. We will know.
We will know. Overall, VJ Edgecombe's good, but he's a rookie. I don't think rookies are winning players for the most part. I mean, you talk about Quentin Grimes. We don't know what's going on with him because clearly the team doesn't prioritize him, even though he did come back on a qualifying offer. He tried to get that qualifying offer deadline extended. Sixers said no, so he ended up signing it. Overall, their depth isn't good. Andre Drummond is still their backup center, and I guess their starting center because Embiid's not going to play most games. Paul George is still an injury-prone player.
Yep.
Tyrese Maxey is like the only like super like bright
Yeah.
part about this team. And I understand the idea of Joel Embiid might make them a playoff team, but I don't see it. I think obviously potential wise, if everyone's healthy, this is a top 4 team in the East in my opinion. But I can't rely on that. I've been given no reason to.
No, I mean, I get it. Yeah. Joel Embiid is the idea of Joel Embiid is the idea of a ice cream cone on a 110-degree day. It sounds great until you actually get it, and then it's just gone immediately.
It's just melted. You can't even.
So
You don't get any of it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think I'm higher on the Sixers than you just because, you know, I'm a little more optimistic about what their health is going to look like, and I also look at the talent on the team. But yeah, I got the Raptors at 7. To me, I think they showed a lot of good things last year individually. It's just a matter if they can put it all together. Obviously, you know, Scotty Barnes was a little bit disappointing last year in his output, but I think they've done a good job of surrounding him with a lot of players where it's like you don't have to expect him to be the number one offensive guy. I think probably it's number one offensive guy by committee in a lot of ways. You know, quickly showed flashes at time last year, but it was also hurt. RJ Barrett looked really good last year. Like, I think he really lived up to that top pick billing last year where you looked at him and you're like, hey, this is the guy that came out of Duke that they drafted number 3 overall in the draft the Knicks did. Yep. Right. Yeah, I like, you know, they've got Grady Dick still. They've got a lot of pieces. It's really just going to come down to coaching and if they can, you know, put them all together. Right. Their coaches such an interesting guy. Like when I've listened to him talk, he's very much got that like European mentality about like super direct about everything.
Oh, you
when
hear
I've heard
about his
it.
story, and it's kind of insane how much he was coaching, overseas, or he was
Yeah.
like was he a scout overseas or something? And then like I don't know, like I can't remember exactly his story, but it's insane, or it's crazy. But
Like,
no, the
No,
Raptors are pretty.
he knows what
interesting.
he's doing. I just don't think they have quite the firepower as a whole to, jump up above the top 6 teams in the East.
Okay.
you know.
Who's your number 6?
My number 6.
Tell me it's
I don't know if
Philly.
you're gonna
Please
like.
don't tell
I
me
don't know
at
if you're
Philly
gonna like. I
higher
don't
than
know
this.
if you're gonna like this. My number 6 is the Atlanta Hawks.
Dude, get the fuck out. There's no way you have Philly over the Hawks. Whatever. My 6 is the Toronto Raptors. Just because you just talked about him, I'll just give my little spill.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of really good players. You know what's funny is Patrick Beverley said that Grady Dick is only famous, or is only as well known as he is because of his last name. That's just not true. Grady Dick's a decent player. He was a lottery pick. He played for Kansas. Like,
Man, why are we still listening to Pat Bev? I'm sorry. He's just. Why are we giving any credit to what he's saying? This is like when a kid like rage baits an adult, and then they like you let them do it, and you're like, why are you letting this kid rage bait you? And then they know they're gonna rise out of you, so they just keep saying the same thing over and over again, and it keeps working. Like like he's just gonna progressively go through every single guard in the Eastern Conference and make fun of them and say something about them and try to get some attention for it. Like,
Yeah,
good for him. It's working, but
he is a professional rage baiter and clip farmer. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it really is.
that
Because I saw it from
that clip of him in Minnesota, like.
celebrating the play-in game. Pat Bev is entertaining. Like, don't even get me wrong.
Oh
He
man,
just
we
says
need
stupid
another
things
Pat Bev
for-
in the NBA.
we really don't have. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, who do we have?
The
even?
problem is,
It's
I
like-
think Amen Thompson could kind of be that, but he's too good. Pat Bev, a Pat Bev.
yeah, but Amen Thompson's not like a.
he'll fight people though.
He's not a talk. He's just
he's
a
not a
crash out.
talker.
He's
He's
just a crash out. Like,
That's true. But overall, the Toronto Raptors, besides talking about Grady Dick,
Mm-hmm.
overall starting five is just a bunch of solid players. Solid to good, like really good players.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, their bench, the Raptors always tend to find people off the bench who are really good. I believe in guys like Ochai Agbaji. They have Jacoby Walter.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of solid bench guys as well. I think they have a good coaching. It's the Toronto Raptors. I believe in them. I do. And I think one of the reasons I do believe in them, I'll get to it in a bit because it's part of my hot take. But yeah, overall, the Atlanta Hawks.
okay, yeah, Atlanta Hawks, because it's really simple for me. You want to talk about the 76ers and injury-prone centers and all that? Totally fine, totally valid. Kristaps Porzingis is an injury-prone center. He will miss games this year. And if he does, you're kind of just left with the same team they had last year. Like, yes, you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Yes, you have Luke Kennard. But I don't know. To me, you're really not like Porzingis' health is very much a determination of how this team is going to look in a lot of ways. Because even when they had Jalen Johnson and he was healthy, they didn't like Jalen Johnson looked really good, but the Hawks as a whole were not necessarily moving me. I still think they'll be good. One of my hot takes later has to do with the Hawks, but like and how good one of those players is going to be. But like Dyson Daniels, great defensive player, not a reliable offensive option. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, great defensive player, not a reliable offensive option. Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Risache, his development is going to play a big role in this team and what role he can play. And I know you believe a lot in him. I still feel like I need to see more from him. And that's why I have them at 6.
I will say the Research reports, now they might be biased because they come from like the Hawks media, the Hawks players. Apparently he's gotten taller and obviously he got stronger. Like I think everyone kind of noticed that. And then I think I've made it a point on this pod before, but I'll just go ahead and remind people and bring it up. Research was on a minutes limit, not because of how, quote unquote bad he was, because he was actually decent, but he was trying to gain weight last season. I mean, this dude is like 6'9", 6'10", and he's like 215. Like that's just not an NBA ready body. So he's around 225, 230 now. From the start of last season, beginning of last season, it was 215. So it did take like a whole year. With like in the offseason, he gained 15 pounds because that's not healthy.
Yeah.
But over the last year, which
Got him on that. Well, I can't even say that anymore.
because Zion's skinny now. Luka.
Yeah.
Because
I can't say that now either.
No,
because
because Luka's. Did you know that Luka is up 15 pounds from last year's media day? Yeah,
I thought that was AD.
It's Luka too then, because I definitely saw Luka. I don't know about AD. I think
AD is also up 15 pounds from last year's media day.
they both got traded for each other. I guess they just They let it go.
They've just been eating together all off season. Just eating pints of man. Fuck these teams.
They're like crying, eating ice cream with their back.
Watching like Love Island, like fucking pissed.
Like a bunch of 20-year-old girls, dude. But
Oh Jesus.
I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, reason thing. Overall, okay. Here's the thing: if Onyeka Okongwu last year got hurt, the backup center was now like Clint Capella.
Yeah.
I just okay personally, and again, I'm biased. I am a Hawks fan if you didn't know, but the Hawks, you have to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt to because they were so young last year and they're still young now. Where you kind of just want to naturally think they'll progress. And what I mean by that is, yes, if Porzingis gets hurt, that's bad, and he will get hurt. Like, you know, like I highly doubt we see over 60 games. Whether he gets injured or not, I don't think we'll see 60 games of Porzingis. I think we actually will rest him some games just to make sure because we are a playoff team in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I have them as a playoff team too. Like, I'm not saying they're not.
But I think we have some good big men in. You know, Onyeka Okongwu is now a sixth man guy, or I mean, he could start next to Porzingis. Apparently, that is a possibility, even though that'd be like a pretty big Jalen Johnson at the 3. I don't know, but overall, we have another backup center in Mohamed Gay, who I really believe in. Is it Thunder?
That was Thunder, dude.
What's going on?
Man, we got to talk about the West next.
Yeah. Speaking of, no,
Yeah.
but yeah. Overall, I mean, I kind of want to talk more about the Hawks when I get to them because I have them. I have them pretty high. I don't want to say how high I have them yet.
Yeah. But I will just say I think we have the depth. I return, but I mean you should be high on your team. I should be. You know, Los Angeles is as you know very well. But I will But again, I will say with your points of they there's not as many good offensive players. Well, there's more better offensive players because you have Luke Kennard, which I think is the best shooter Trey's ever played with. Bogdan is like a clear second. Maybe Herder wasn't that good. But have you seen the clip of Luke Kennard for a minute straight making 3-pointers? Which, I mean, he's an NBA sharpshooter, he's supposed to. But Trey, like, saw him, and he just like flopped on the ground because he was just so amazed by that. I mean, Trey's never played with a sharpshooter like that besides Bo. I mean, and even Bogdan got hurt every year. I don't know. I'll get to him when I get to my spot because I do not have him next. I'll say that much. Yeah. I will say is as we know well, Young and Atlanta don't go well together.
What do you mean? Trey Young.
They connect the dots. Young Wei Koo.
Oh, I hate Young Wei Koo.
All right. I feel like you hate Young Wei Koo more than you like Trey Young. Or at least you talk about him more.
No, because Young Wei Koo had some really good moments for the Falcons. That's the difference. And Trey also had good moments. So I don't know. Yeah, it's like hard rating right now.
I was like, you can cut this out, but I'm like, it's gonna hail again. Like up here, it's like hail again.
That's all we got to get to it, dude.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Team number 5, I have the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, I have the 76ers. I originally had the Pistons in this spot, but
I guess I'm happy you don't have the Sixers higher, but you have the Pistons higher.
I'll get to it. But yeah, 76ers. Joel Embiid is the second best player in the East when healthy.
He might play 25 games.
But yeah, he and it's all going to be dependent on his health. I really like VJ Edgecombe, really like McCain, I really like Maxey. I think Paul George is still a good player in his role. I don't think he is the like superstar first or second option that he used to be. But I still think he can be good in his role.
I disagree. I really don't think Paul George is good in a role.
You don't think?
I think this is the weakness of people having a podcast is they give their stupid opinions and then now we can call them out for it because they're still playing. Paul George said 2 years ago. This was like 2 years ago. I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. He said, luckily now I'm on a team. So either the Clippers added a bunch of players or maybe it was the Sixers first year where he's like, now I'm on a team where I don't have to do the little things. I could just go out there and be a star. He said this on his podcast. He's like, because he was saying that before when he was on the Clippers and people were getting hurt, that he had to do the little things and he's the star. He's not, so he shouldn't have to do that. Which I mean, I think he was saying he's more than willing to, but he shouldn't have to. And that's just not the trait that you want in a role player.
No, he's not.
Paul George is a role player.
Yeah.
You could say that, yeah, he's still going to have offensive responsibility. He'll probably average 17 points per game or whatever. He is a role player.
Yeah.
Do you actually expect Paul George, with how injury prone he is and how old he is, to be doing the role player things that younger guys, like I'll say my team, the Detroit Pistons, I mean, obviously, and I think Paul George is probably better than like Asar Thompson right now.
Yeah.
But those two play and there's a loose ball. I'm taking Asar Thompson every day of the week to get that loose ball.
Well, yeah, because do you think Paul George is going to take a dive?
No,
Those Sar Thompson? I don't think with anyone Paul George is taking a dive. I mean, I guess no one doing with this on but give Paul George credit for, or I guess not a pass for, because injuries are still part of the game. But there was not a single point in time last year where he was 100% healthy. Like, he was hurt from the preseason on. Because, I mean, remember that, like, injury he had to his knee?
Yeah, I
mean,
remember. He had to get like the injections.
He probably tried to play through that more than he should have, and that probably messed him up.
And I think that can mess him up for this season as well.
Everything adds up. Yeah.
I don't think there was some one big Kyle Lowry injury that made him as trash as he is now.
I just think this is Philly's last year of this group of guys, and I think they know it. I think, and look, and this is part of what I was saying is like, regular season success does not dictate playoff success. I don't necessarily have my number 1 and 2 seed playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? Or my number 1 and 2 seed playing in the Western Conference Finals. But certain teams are built to win in the regular season. And the Philadelphia 76ers, if healthy or if 80% healthy, are one of those teams. Now, without Joel Embiid, are they going anywhere in the playoffs? No. But they are a team where you have so many scorers and so many playmakers that you should be able to win games in the regular season.
Maybe that's the case. I will say, how many games did they win last season? You know, was it less than 20?
It wasn't less than 20.
You don't think it was?
I think it was. No, I know for a fact it wasn't because I looked at the standings earlier.
I was about to say, if it was less than 20, that would be a hell of a jump that they'd have to make. To be the 4 seed or like Zealand?
Oh, they did win 24.
So they'd have to win, yeah.
But everyone was hurt. Everyone was hurt. Maxey was hurt too.
But they didn't even get many more players. The team isn't even, like, I understand that they were hurt.
They just need to be healthy. They don't need more players.
Like, look, their team's already not healthy. That's the problem. If they were going into the season healthy, then maybe I'm pretty sure they got like
Eric Gordon or something.
Eric Gordon's probably hurt. Joel Embiid's definitely hurt. Jared McCain's definitely hurt. And then just knowing their luck, it's Philly. Someone else is going to get hurt. I'm expecting Paul George to get hurt. The only one that I'm not expecting, it's like Kelly Oubre.
Justin Edwards.
Justin Edwards is hurt too?
No, he's just who they brought back. I got another train of thought. Yeah. But yeah.
Wait, overall, I'll get back to my team. I have the Detroit Pistons. Overall, I think they are super talented and they have so many young guys that I believe in. The only problem is I really don't like the fact. I think they'll do what they did last year. Well, I guess this is one better because they're the 5 seed instead of the 6 seed.
Yeah.
And that's because they're young and everyone's going to develop. The problem I have with the Pistons is that they have these sharpshooters that they bring in. Like it was Blake Beasley last year. It was now Duncan Robinson. I think they brought in one more sharpshooter.
They brought in Duncan Robinson and
or someone else.
They did bring in someone else.
It's not like they brought back. It was like someone new. Karis LeVert.
Yeah, they did bring in Karis LeVert. That was who it was.
And I guess Karis LeVert is kind of so. I don't like that idea. I think all of their younger guys are guys who just aren't very good 3-point shooters. You talk about Cade Cunningham, you talk about Jaden Ivey, you talk about Sar Thompson, Jalen Buren, Ron Hohen.
Jaden Ivey shot 40% from 3 in the games he played last year.
And how many games did he play? Like 20?
Something like that.
I'm not believing a 20 game sample size. Because I think I
saw Reed Shepherd diet.
Yeah, 20-something games at college.
It's 41% from 3 in 30 games, playing 30 minutes a game.
So, I mean, if you want to believe in that, that's cool. I personally don't. I think he's a probably like average shooter. And they have a bunch of average or below average shooters. And then they have just Duncan Robinson, which if you want to play that Miami Heat defense for Duncan Robinson 3-point shots, go ahead. They're not going to do that. Because I'd be stupid when you have Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey on your team. But yeah, a lot of the young guys I believe in, like Asar, like Ron Holland, like Duran, are just guys that can't shoot the ball. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But when the players add up and then all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 guys on the court that can't space, that's when it starts to be a problem. I still think the defense is good enough where they'll be a top 10 defense and they're going to win games that way. But it's still Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree because I feel like the Thunder were like that at points last year, and they were fine.
But the Thunder, because like that was like the greatest defense ever. Like statistically, the greatest defense.
Yeah, but Pistons could be one of the best defenses.
And Shea is better than Cade.
Yes.
And J-Dub offensively is better than any second off Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is like one of those guys that I guess they can shoot. But besides him,
no, I mean I get it.
And it's Tobias Harris. You're not relying on Tobias Harris. You shouldn't.
Damn.
And no team ever.
A lot of shitting on him for a 5th seed.
Because their defense is that good, and I believe that Cade Cunningham is that good.
Yeah.
I actually really liked what I saw from Duran because I wasn't too much of a Duran believer before. And then I love, like Ron Holland. Ron Holland was a guy I thought he was like low-key top 3 or 4 in the class.
Yeah. It's just the fact that how many opportunities will he get on this team? I don't know. His shooting, I don't know. Because they're such a winning team, like how much are they going to really like play the young guys? Man, they're not going to care about. If I was the business, I wouldn't care that much about Ron Holland when you have Kate Cunningham doing his thing. Fair enough. And it's our Thompson. Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. Next one. Number 4, I have the Pistons. That's where I've got them. I really think that it's going to be dependent on Jaden Ivey in a lot of ways. Like their ceiling is dependent on how well Jaden Ivey can play. I hear people talk about fit a lot where it's like, oh, you have 2 guards playing next to each other that are ball dominant and like, can they work together? The Boston Celtics have shown us that 2 ball dominant players can work really well together. You don't necessarily need 2 players to be complementary for them to work well together on the same team. Brad, is it with the Boston Celtics? So you're saying Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. I think it's a little different way for each other. Like they didn't play off each other, but I do think it's different with the forwards versus guards. How often do we see a 2-guard combination really thrive? I don't like the idea of a 2-guard combination personally. That's why I'm hoping that started series. What is your definition of thrive? I guess how many times are they a top 4 seed? Because like how good do you think Ivy is? Ivy isn't Westbrook and Harden and it's not Ivy, but like Dame and CJ. Okay, is Ivy CJ? Because remember, Blazers CJ was pretty damn good. I'm saying if Ivy can be CJ, they can. But if you have him as the 4 seed, and I have him as the 5 seed, don't get me wrong. But if you have him as the 4 seed, are you believing in Ivy? I do believe. I'm personally someone who believes in Jaden Ivey. I always liked him in college. I liked what I've seen from him in the NBA. I know he hasn't been super efficient, but he showed a lot better efficiency last year. I do believe in Jaden Ivey. I think there's a lot of talent there, and I think there's a lot of untapped potential there. So that's basically you're totally wrong. That's the kind of where I'm at with Pistons. And yeah, I like LeVert. I like Robinson as complementary pieces in that offense. And yeah, Cade Cunningham is just that good. I mean, there was 2 guys in the NBA that averaged 25 points per game and 9+ assists. So 25 plus points per game, 9+ assists, and it was Nikola Jokic and Cade Cunningham. Yeah. So he's a damn good NBA player. He's very good. The 4 seed, I have the Orlando Magic. And then you have them higher, obviously, because we haven't talked about them yet. Yeah, I'm missing a team you haven't mentioned yet, and I'm wondering. We'll see. Okay, so the Orlando Magic, obviously very good. They're adding Desmond Bane, who I think is a very good player. Is actually a legitimate, not only scorer, but shooter, which is what they're missing, which is why they drafted Jet Howard, but they don't play Jet Howard. Like, who was the shooter that they played last year? I guess that was like kind of supposed to be KCP. Yeah. Technically, it's like Caleb Houston might have been their best shooter, yeah. Which is pretty sad.
All right, audio is a little weird, but we're back. So overall, I think the Magic are very good. I think they're going to be a top 5 defense next season. It's just, but yeah, they did add Desmond Bane, who was a good shooter on the Grizzlies last year. Pretty much no one. I'm trying to think of other additions they had. Mo Wagner. Honestly, they had a lot of injuries last year, which is another reason I think they'll just be good. Jalen Suggs was hurt. Mo Wagner, I forget what his injury was, but he was out for the season. So hopefully he's back. They have the same Wendell, Goga, which isn't like amazing centers, but it's 3 quality, good defensive centers. Like just super reliable. Paulo, a lot of people think he's a future superstar. Franz, a lot of people think he's a future superstar. And then Desmond Bane is like a 25 point per game guy.
I don't know about superstar with Franz, but how many superstars are in
we'll
the
see
NBA?
About when I get to the hot takes. When I get to my hot take, it'll be kind of interesting.
Some people.
But I am a huge Jalen Suggs guy. I'm a huge Anthony Black guy. I think he's going to take a jump because he was really good defensively last year.
You're a huge black guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge black guy. Not a huge white guy. Kobe White, he just doesn't cut it for me.
Yeah.
And then just overall, they have a bunch of solid, Jonathan Isaac's still back. He's a great defender. Overall, I don't think they'll be one of the best teams in the East. That's why I have them at number 4. But their defense is enough to keep up, and I'm big on Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
So 3 seed.
3 seed. I have the Orlando Magic.
Let's talk about the Orlando Magic, and then I'll get to my team.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm concerned, but yeah. No, Orlando Magic, a lot of the same reasons you said. I think, as long as they can stay healthy. I think Paulo was playing amazing basketball before he got hurt last year. Like, incredible basketball. And I think he is a guy who is, like, in his career been pretty healthy. Like, last year was the first time he had a major injury, aside from sweating too much. But, he really has been very healthy throughout his career. And I don't see a reason why that would change now. Franz Wagner is obviously a very good number 2. And Desmond Bane is also a very good number 2. So the fact that you have both those guys as offensive options, like, they can kind of interchange play the number 2 role depending on which team they're playing. And Desmond Bain can hold his own on defense too.
Yeah, I
they're-
think it's a slight positive.
Yeah,
honestly.
they're a very good defensive team still. As long as Jalen Suggs can Jalen Suggs can stay healthy, I see no reason why this team can't be a top 3 team in the East. They already had probably the best defense in the Eastern Conference last year, and they added a lot to their offense by getting Desmond Bain. So
Yeah. I don't even think Jalen Suggs is like as good of a defender that Dyson Daniels was. Like Dyson Daniels' defense was amazing, but Jalen Suggs before he got hurt and then like the year before like was doing those kind of things as a guard, which is pretty incredible.
yeah.
Speaking of Dyson Daniels, I have the Atlanta Hawks as the number 3 seed. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like if you asked me a month ago, I was probably gonna go like 5th seed. I honestly would have had the Sixers over them. But just more I think about things, the more the injuries have like the history of injuries, or not history, but the news of injuries has gone on. I'm gonna be high on my team. This is the most optimistic I've ever been for a Hawks season in the last like 10, honestly, ever since I've been a Hawks fan. Outside of the one season, the year after we made the conference finals, I thought we were gonna be the champs the next year. But that did not happen. But overall, I love how young. I love the direction that we went last season. I love how the young guys that we chose to believe in, how they played last season. And I believe in growth is not linear, but I think that they will all not take a huge jump, but they will all jump enough where it really helps Trae Young. I'm not going to say that Trae Young's dominance and how good Trae Young is going to be the reason we're a 3 seed, because I honestly believe that's not going to be the case. I see Jalen Johnson taking a huge jump. I really think he would have been most improved player over his teammate Dyson Daniels if he did stay healthy. Honestly, he was a if he stayed healthy, which I actually think while Porzingis is the injury prone player, Jalen Johnson's just as injury prone.
Yeah.
I really hope that he's just we're gonna get a full season of him, because we haven't seen that besides like his second season, and even then he wasn't getting very many minutes. He was a second year player.
Yeah.
I believe in Dyson Daniels. I'm believing in him to make more open shots, because at the end of the day, and I'm not some Trae Glazer as a Hawks fan, but I will say Trae got this man wide open on like half of his shots. When I say wide, I mean wide open. And him only shooting 34% from 3 and 50% from the field is incredible with how, like, because you just look at those stats like from a raw standpoint, that's most improved. Those are good splits.
Yeah.
But when you see how open he was, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a Dyson Daniels believer. He did not deserve most improved player. Maybe for the steals he did. Like if you want to count defense, that much,
He had a historic steal season.
he did.
so-
He did. But offensively, I don't think people notice that he's a bad offensive player. Now, I personally think this next year he's going to take a bigger jump, and if he's that open, hopefully he's more of like a 37% from 3 guy. Overall, Risa J, I actually like I did not like the pick on draft night. I believe in Risa J now. I loved what I saw. I loved what he's been doing overseas. I know you don't care about the overseas game, but overall, I liked what I saw. He's grown even more. He's gotten stronger, which was like one big point, because I'm not gonna lie, as a 6'10" dude, whenever he took someone smaller to him to the rim during the season, he was always able to score on them. It's just the fact that he could never get there because he didn't have the strength.
Right.
He didn't gain 50 pounds. He didn't make some Giannis transformation, but I'm hoping that he can just take advantage a little bit more. I like guys like Mo Gay off the bench, Luke Kennard, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Onyeka Okongwu is now a bench guy again, which is probably like the best backup big in the league.
I do just want to say something in response to what you said real quick.
Okay.
I don't necessarily not believe in the overseas game. I don't believe in it for guys who have played overseas for a majority of their careers under those rules, right? So guys like, you brought up Sengun last time, you brought up Risa Shea now. These are guys that have been playing overseas their entire careers. When it is a guy playing, and maybe this is not fair to say, but a guy playing in the US goes overseas and plays really well in the Olympics, yeah, that guy's probably pretty good, because you think about the guys that have performed really well in the Olympics that were United States born, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. Yeah, I'd say those guys are pretty good. But these other guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic look like it's
Bogdan.
Bogdan. Yeah, Bogdan. I said it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. Don't second guess yourself. You're the man.
No, I know. He looked like the second coming of Klay Thompson.
Oh, no, he
in that
did.
game against Team USA.
For Serbia, he's above.
and that can happen. But overseas ball is different than United States ball, and anybody will tell you that. And these guys that have played overseas have a distinct advantage because they're used to the rules, they're used to the play, they're used to all of this stuff. Of course, in my mind at least, of course they're going to perform better when they go play overseas, right? Of course Sengun is going to look better overseas than he does in the United States. Of course Risa Shea is going to look better overseas where he's more comfortable with the rules than he does playing on an NBA team, right? I don't know that that necessarily is an indicator of a translation. That's the only clarification I wanted to make.
Okay, and that's fair. But overall, I think the Hawks are deep. I think if an injury or two happens, it's not going to hurt them as much as last year, where we're playing like Keaton Wallace last year, who's still on the roster. But I just think now, I know like we don't have a backup point guard technically, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker did come into the NBA as a point guard. I don't think it's crazy to say that he can have point guard responsibilities. And even if you don't see him as a point guard, Jalen Johnson's a great playmaker. Dyson Daniels came into the league also as a point guard. Kobe Buffkin was supposed to, and then we traded him for we traded him for cash considerations. Man, cash considerations. It's been all over the league, dude.
Man,
That dude's been on like every team.
That's a journeyman right
Yeah,
there. I want to see one of those like Shaq rainbow like pictures where it's all of his different jerseys that he's worn, but I want to see that for cash considerations.
But it's cash money.
Honestly, the GOAT, man. I mean, every team has wanted him at some point.
You know how many championships he probably has?
A lot, probably.
Probably
you know?
every single one.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm gonna believe in my team. I think Trae Young's an all-star. I think Jalen Johnson is an all-star. I think we have 2 all-stars this season. And Porzingis is a special mold of NBA player that Trae Young, well, a lot of players haven't played with, but specifically Trae Young has never played with. A lot of the times, a lot of these years, the main center that Trae's been with is Clint Capella.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And now, I mean, Trae's just never played with a guy who could shoot the ball like this at the big man position. Besides, if you want to call John Collins a big man, tweener.
Yeah.
But an actual center who can shoot like this, I want to see what Trae's doing. And also, it gives everyone else so much room to work with. So, but I will say, I do agree. I want to ask you then, are the Hawks more of a regular season team or a playoff team?
Honestly, I see this Hawks team as more of a playoff team than a regular season team. So I that is an important distinction in that
You're not saying they're...
I'm probably higher on them as a playoff team than I am on the Sixers, but I just see the Sixers as like, if they can stay healthy, there's no way they're bad in the regular season.
Okay. I think that's pretty interesting because I think I'd actually go the opposite. But that's just because we have so many young players. Versus, I mean, Joel Embiid, I love Trae Young and he had that amazing playoff run, but he's only been to the playoffs 3 times. Jalen Johnson, I think once?
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but just the way that some of their young guys play, I think, gives them an inherent advantage in the playoffs. Jalen Johnson is
We
not
do
a
have Nikhil. Nikhil has been in
yeah,
the
and
playoffs.
Nikhil and Jalen Johnson is not a guy that's necessarily going to go cold in the playoffs.
No,
because that's not his play style. Reece Shea is maybe a guy that could go cold in the playoffs, as we saw in the play-in, right?
Maybe, but like a guy like a Kungwu is not going to get playoff. Actually, Kungwu's been a good playoff performer.
Yeah.
So okay, we have that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we have the last 2 seeds.
I just got to get one more out of the way.
Okay.
On the cash considerations things. Caitlin Clark, who? Give me the real CC. Cash considerations. Okay, I'm good. I just had that one promoted. I just needed to get that one out.
Nice.
Yeah, I assume we have the same top 2. I don't know that we need to spend too much time on them. Number 2, New York Knicks.
New York Knicks. Yeah.
Number
I mean,
1,
overall,
yeah.
1 Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cavs, like,
I mean, we need to talk about it a little bit. They're the top 2 teams in the East.
yeah, but I mean,
th-
it's top 2, same as last year. Sans Boston. You know.
I will say though, I'm higher on the Knicks this year than last year because the Knicks
agree.
have a bench now. They did not have a bench last season.
Jordan Clarkson and Malcolm Brogdon.
Like those
along
are
with,
legit pieces.
They got Yabusele too.
Yeah, Yabusele is a good player. They still are going to have what's his name off the Miles McBride. Josh Hart could even be Josh Hart played off the bench and he just got hurt unfortunately. Hoping for a good recovery, but Josh Hart played off the bench in the preseason game, which I thought was pretty interesting.
I could definitely see him playing that role. Like I think he wouldn't be a guy who has a problem with that.
I just don't know who you'd start over him because I think they started some like not that good player. I forget who it was.
Yeah, but honestly, that kind of makes sense.
Maybe.
Why
I
would
think
you?
the only
Why
person
would
you start
you
over is
start
Mitchell Robinson.
so many guys? Like you could start Mitchell Robinson next
Put
to
Cat at the 4.
Cat though. Like I guess you put Cat
As a
at the 4.
defensive guy. I mean,
Welcome,
that's kind of what they
welcome
did.
back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
But it's Brunson instead of Ant. Nah. Brent. I mean, we've had this debate before.
Yeah, we don't.
we don't have to.
Yeah, I like what they did, and I also feel like Mike Brown is good head coach. I feel like he's different than Thibodeau. I think he's more offensive minded, less defensive minded. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of identity that team takes on. But Mike Brown is a guy who's always had a good amount of success in the regular season as you fade back into another plane of
Listen, man.
existence.
When we talk about this 1 seed,
You're making me
we don't-
look massive. Like you're making me look like that one picture of like you ever seen that picture of Queso and like Jinxie next to each other?
I think I
and
have.
like Queso looks like he could fit Jinxie inside of his like chest cavity. That's how you're making me look right now. This is a bad look
okay.
for me.
That's okay. That's fine if you look like that. I don't judge you. Look, dude, when we talk about these top 2, we just agreed they're the best teams. There's no stress over the. Actually, there is stress. The Cleveland Cavaliers are
Oh, look
number
at
1.
this guy's all relaxed back here.
I don't like.
Yeah,
being
you
up
wanted
here.
some chiropractor work back there?
Actually, that would be nice. I've never had a massage in my
That
life.
would be nice.
Like
Yeah.
like a legit
Like a
medical
professional
Yeah.
massage.
I feel like it'd probably help, or a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Never had either.
Just be careful, Corby.
I don't trust doctors.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cavaliers. Obviously, I think Hunter might be in the starting five this season, so it's gonna be Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen.
It's a good starting five.
I'm expecting a jump from Mobley. I'm not gonna lie. In the media day, they said,
What is his jump going to be, though? He's the third option at best. What's his...
wait, what? Are we really have this discussion? Mobley can't take a jump.
He
He can't be more.
but
The coach just said this season Mobley's going to be way more in the offense. Mobley in the playoffs.
If I listened
disappeared.
to everything a coach said in media day, I would assume that the entire NBA was going to average 20 points a game.
Brother, this is Mobley we're talking about. This is Tim Duncan right here. This is
I'm
I'm a Mobley.
not
I'm a
Tim
Mobley.
Duncan.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even put it in the hot takes because I didn't think it'd be that much of a hot take. But Mobley last year, a lot of people considered him the best player on the Cavs.
It's an interesting take.
I think it's the correct take. He was the best player. He was obviously the best defensive player. Offensively, the regular season, he was great. Defensively, he didn't get any shots up, which could be his fault, could be coaching, could be Donovan Mitchell taking 35 shots a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
But I think Mobley's the best player, and he's
Yeah,
only going to
I
get
mean,
better.
maybe he could take-
Yeah,
maybe
you
he
tell
could
me
take
he can't be a 20, especially when Garland's always missing games besides the last season. You take Garland away from that offense,
Yeah, fair enough.
I think Mobley could be that guy.
Yeah.
Low key, like a top 3 contender for MVP in the East. You can say that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Save it for the hot takes. Because I'm not going to say that.
It's not even. It's a cold.
You
take.
can say no. You can say that.
It's
I'm
a
not going
cold
to say.
take. It's not a hot take. It's a cold take. Everyone should be saying that.
I don't know about that.
All right, so we just got through it.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of hot takes, but we can go.
Cool.
So 3 for each of us.
Yep.
I'll choose 3 of them out of my 4.
All right.
I want you to start.
All right. My first hot take has to do with your Atlanta Hawks.
That's stupid. I hate this hot take. All right. Let me hear it.
Jalen Johnson will make the All-Star game, and he will be the best player on the Hawks this season.
Oh, because that first part is not a hot take. I really think him being an all-star. I'm not saying it's super obvious. Or
I don't.
like
I think
anything
he
like
was
that.
borderline last year before he got hurt with his numbers.
He was,
but I think
yeah.
he will be the definitive best player on the Hawks this year.
That's so interesting. Because because last year, I mean, and throughout Trae Young's career, he's been a guy who always had the ball in his hands and
The balls.
the balls in his hands. And then just last season, I don't know, like the way that Trae played was so impressive last season because he had no good offensive options with Jalen Johnson being hurt, and then us not having guys like Nikhil and Luke Kennard, and instead it was, I mean, it's Dyson Daniels. It's a rookie in Risa Shea, which like I'm there's only one rookie that I'm saying is a positive player in this upcoming draft class, and it's the white boy out of Maine. Yeah, he's from Maine. Yeah,
Yeah.
But,
The main event,
the main event, which is kind of cool.
the flag bearer.
I don't hate this hot take. I mean, I'm a Hawks fan. I'm a huge Jalen Johnson believer. I might even agree with it. But that has to be a pretty big jump. Where's Trae? Where does Trae rank for you in the league? Like obviously we don't have it exactly, but
In
just
the
just
league,
even point guards. Oh, you're pretty low on. Yeah, you have like John Morant over Trae and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why you have that take.
I
don't
mean,
think
but
so.
here's the thing. I know Trey is like.
That makes you. So
I know Trey is a good offensive player. Like he's a very good offensive player. Jalen Johnson can play both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
He can rebound. He can defend. He can score. Trey is obviously going to be the distributor, right? But
But even then, Jalen Johnson can distribute.
Yeah.
For the forward position.
so for me, it's like, honestly, for the Hawks to reach their potential, I do feel like Jalen Johnson needs to be the best player on that team.
That's not crazy. Because I do have him taking a jump. Do you think Trey's a top 20 player? If you just had to guess.
Top 20 means he's borderline all NBA.
Yeah, he'd be the first team out. He'd be on
Yeah.
the first team out.
First team out. Top 20 means he's an all-star.
Remember, you're a huge John Morant over Trae Young guy.
I wouldn't give him top 20.
Do you think Jalen Johnson will be top 20 next season?
I think Jalen Johnson will be top 25.
So you think Trey?
I think
that?
Yeah, I think Trey. I'd give Trey top 30. Like I say definitive. Trey would be like in that category of like borderline all star, and I feel like Jalen Johnson will be in that category of
all-star.
like definitive all star.
Because I don't hate that part. Man, you are low on Trae Young. I really hope he proves you wrong. But the thing is,
I mean,
can't-
I would love if he did, honestly, because when Trey Young was good, I loved it. But the more I see from Trae Young, the more I'm like, when you are at your best, your team is not.
How many guys ended an All-Star's career? Like Trae Young ended Ben Simmons' career.
How many guys got rage baited by Pat Bev in the offseason?
Man, Trae Young pisses me off. Yeah, he's the best player on my team, and I gotta love him. And he score a bunch, he play makes, he's a fun player. But man, like he tries to be, he's too nonchalant.
Yeah.
I hate people who try and be too nonchalant.
Did you see what Shea said today in the media day?
No.
They asked him, what was it like to win the championship last year? Or what does it mean to win a championship, to bring a championship to Oklahoma City, right? First championship ever brought to the city, blah, blah, blah. He's like, it's a step in the right direction. Like, if he wasn't trying to be serious, it would be funny. But that's like at that line of like, okay, dude.
Literally everyone wants to be Drake.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Drake's seen as a corny person. But
Well,
like everyone
Shea
wants to
loves Drake. Like,
yeah. And I'm sure probably Trey does too. All right.
Drake.
What?
Drake?
Did I say Drake?
No.
Oh,
I'm saying Drake.
Oh, I guess. If you want to call him that. I mean, that's a shitty nickname.
Drake Youngden.
Because he's a PDF.
Drake
I don't think you can
London.
say that. Oh, Drake London. Oh, I'm stupid.
Do you not know your teams?
Bro, I'm so look, dude. The Falcons disappoint me. Like, I know
This
we're
is what
2-2
happens when
and
you
it's
sit
decent.
back on the couch. You just lose track of the conversation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway,
Give
me
my
yours.
first hot take. Because yours was pretty hot. I think mine's even hotter though. This first one, I think Brandon Ingram's the best small forward in the East. Which you have to go like super semantics with small forward, but let me go ahead and give you who he's better than. He's better than Jaylen Brown. Which that's the hot take part. He's better than Franz Wagner. He's better than Paul George. I don't think that's a hot take.
no.
He's better than OG is a small forward. Hunter's so there's not that much competition. But I think, and it's funny because they were one draft pick apart from each other. I think he's better than Jaylen Brown. There has to be one other small forward in the East that I should have wrote it down. But I feel like those are the best small forwards, and I think Brandon Ingram has it. I think he's always had it. I think he's a better playmaker than Jaylen Brown. He's a better ball handler. He's honestly a better shot creator. The only thing that Jaylen Brown really has is rebounding and defense. And yes, the defense is a gap. Rebounding doesn't matter. And
I
even
mean,
then,
is Jalen Johnson a power forward?
I personally say he's a power forward.
Because the way I just talked about him, I would say he would be the best or one of the best small forwards in the East by the end of the year.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think it. But I did have Jalen Johnson as a power forward though. Just because Reza J started as small forward, it's kind of like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Who are the other East? Let me pull up the East. team.
It's Brandon Miller. It's small forward.
Wiggins.
There's not many small forwards.
Honestly, yeah, it's a pretty weak. I guess that's the hot take. He's better than Jalen.
Better than Jalen.
I've always
Brown.
believed this. I think every single year on the Pelicans, besides there was like 1 year he wasn't very good, but he took a major step up. I think he was a big scapegoat, and I understand Brandon Ingram in media day threw a diss at the Pelicans, saying that like what he loves about the Raptors is that their fans show up for every game, whether they're good or bad. And Pelicans fans got pissed at him. But to be fair to Ingram, he's kind of right. Pelicans
He
fans,
is, yeah.
But and I'm not saying like
When
Pelicans-
Zion gets hurt and Zion isn't in the building, neither are the fans.
yeah.
Like,
And it's sad for guys like Brandon Ingram, guys like Brandon Ingram's teammates, the other Pelicans. But
Brandon Ingram and friends.
and for, I mean that's pretty much what it was. Because I think no matter what, I understand that the Pelicans haven't given the fans a reason to really care, but no, their fans would not show up.
That's fair.
And whether it's fair or not, that's for you to decide. But you can't say it's not fair for Brandon Ingram to say that because he's the guy who's putting on a show every night.
I think depending on who gets put at the small forward on his own team, I don't know that you can say he's the best small
He's
forward
better than
on his
Scottie
own
Barnes.
team. Is he?
He's a bucket that always makes the right pass. He's efficient. His 3-point shooting in the last couple of years has been around like 37%, which is above average for a guy who's been a shot creator. He's not a catch and shoot guy.
I guess. I mean,
He's not a slack on he's not a good
I'm
defender.
not.
I'd say he's a little
I'm
bit
not
below average.
terribly mad at it. I just think you're giving him too much credit as compared to Jaylen Brown, a guy who has like definitively been a key piece on a championship team and been a contributor to
That's fine,
many
but
good
if
teams.
Brandon Ingram, big ass thunder. If Brandon Ingram had guys like Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Brandon Ingram was doing better than Jaylen Brown. Now,
Maybe.
if you want to say in that specific scenario where they're playing with those three guys, and then you're more of a catch and shoot guy, you're more of a guy who defense is more important. Maybe Jaylen Brown's better in that situation, but in general, Brandon Ingram was the better basketball player. And there's a reason I have the Raptors. Honestly, I'm surprised you had the Raptors as high as me. I thought me having the Raptors that high would be a hot take, but we both had them as playoff. Yeah, we both have 60, right?
I actually
just
had them
seven.
as 7. So yeah.
But it's pretty.
I
close.
believe they'll make the playoffs still, but
but it's pretty close. So because I think a lot of people are pretty low on the Raptors. I even think their win total might be like 40 and a half, or like not even 40 and a half. It's like 38 and a half or something.
yeah.
But overall, I've always been, and I still am a huge Brandon Ingram believer. I think he's a star. I think he's an all-star this season.
Yeah.
I think that's also a hot take.
That is a hot take.
But I
But,
really think he's that good.
I don't think it's terribly unbelievable.
But this is the year to prove it, because not only is Ingram getting older, not like too much older, but he actually has pieces around him.
Yeah.
This Raptors team is better than any Pelicans team because Zion's been hurt. Obviously, a healthy Zion, maybe the Pelicans are better, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
This next one is kind of a hot take, kind of not a hot take. I mean, it just depends on how you view this. This number is hard to get to, though. And that's why I think it's a hot take. I mean, you look at the guys that have gotten to this number recently, it's not many.
yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo will average 35 plus points per game this year.
35 is insane.
35 plus.
Now it's possible because he was just doing 31, 32 with Dame on his team and other good players. But man, that's hard. Because eventually you get to 34 points per game, someone's averaging 35, you start letting everyone else beat you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Bucks are a team where you can kind of let everyone else beat you and you'll beat the Bucks.
And I
you know?
think Giannis is a player where you can try to let everyone else beat you, and he still could.
That is true. No, he was so. I didn't realize. I totally forgot how good he was against the Pacers until I looked up the stats a couple of days ago. Insane. He literally killed the Pacers. If he had an ounce of help,
If the Milwaukee Bucks just weren't dog shit.
and Dame didn't get hurt.
Dame didn't get hurt
Dame
again.
getting hurt sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, just man, he like that team made the finals and forced the Thunder to 7. And Giannis, again, they lost in like 5, but Giannis killed them. Like
Yeah.
there's probably like one game where Giannis wasn't good, and it was just because of turnovers. Like he still wasn't stopped at the rim. He just probably had like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I keep saying that stupid number, Connor. but over like that, he probably had like that many
Yeah.
turnovers in a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have too much more to say to that. But I'm gonna give my own Giannis hot take.
Okay.
And maybe this isn't a hot take, but I just gotta say it. Giannis Antetokounmpo. What exactly did I write down? Because it's an interesting statement I made. Giannis has the most justifiable reason for any superstar to ask out of his contract or a team in NBA history, probably outside of, or no, I'm not gonna say it, in modern NBA history, outside of LeBron James in 2018. Like when you talk about a superstar, top 3 player with a roster this bad, when you talk about Adrian Griffin last season getting fired midway through the season when Giannis liked that guy. Now, Adrian Griffin, if you know anything about him, he's actually a bad person. He actually let his grandchild die in a bathtub.
Holy shit, he did?
Yeah. Like that, there's a reason AJ Griffin, his son, who's in the NBA, who's no longer, doesn't even talk to him. Because it wasn't his son, I think it was like his sister's.
Oh my god, dude.
No, it's actually a crazy story. So I'm not gonna defend AJ Griffin, but Giannis loved him. And that wasn't even the reason they fired him.
Yeah.
Sorry, my throat's getting pretty dry.
No, you're good.
Let me reset. Okay. They cut Damian Lillard without even telling Giannis beforehand. That's insane.
Yeah.
The roster is terrible. Doc Rivers is their coach.
I mean, he is, yeah.
I literally think Giannis. In fact, I'm gonna take it a step further. Not only is he like one of the most justified players ever if he was to ask out, which he has multiple times, but him being like this, him being peaceful, him not aggressively asking out like Jimmy Butler did last year is doing a disservice, and it's honestly a disrespect to his own career. Because this is a total waste. I'm talking about there is no chance. I mean, like you talk about even LeBron in 2018, that roster, terrible. However, they made the finals the year before.
Yeah.
You talk about the Warriors when Steph Curry got hurt 7 games in, but even then, I think Clay was already hurt for the year.
Yeah.
But they had just made the finals the season before.
Yeah.
There is no reason. Giannis just killed the playoffs, and they lost in 5. Now, yes, it might be the team who made the finals and who could have won it if Halliburton stayed healthy, but they got absolutely dominated. Every single player played bad except Giannis. And he's not asking out when the roster gets significantly Well, the same players get brought back outside of Miles Turner, and then they have no Damian Lillard, no superstar. Who, by the way, they traded a bunch of assets for Damian Lillard, just to cut him. And this means that there is not, because if they didn't cut him and they just kept Dame for a year while he's hurt, that means that next year there's a chance. What sliver of hope do the Milwaukee Bucks have? They don't even have a pick this year.
That Giannis averages 40. That's
Giannis
basically
is the only hope.
Yeah.
This is some Star Wars shit. You're our only hope.
Yeah.
He is the only
Yeah.
bright spot on the team outside of the center who just made
Shit,
the
you got me
finals.
leaning back now. This is a bad situation. This is
him,
not good.
Him not asking out is he is disrespecting his own career, and it's
Yeah.
honestly pissing me off because there are plenty of teams who will throw a good package at the Milwaukee Bucks, and even with all those assets going out the window, it'd still be a better team than the Bucks. Like let's say because the Hawks were a team that in the offseason that was rumored like if Giannis was to be traded, they're gonna be like one of the top five teams, not like a top 3, but top 5 teams. You trade away Jalen Johnson. Actually, I think Bleacher Report even made this trade the other week. You trade Jalen Johnson, and I think it was Okongwu, and then it was like 7 first-round picks because the Hawks actually have a lot of future first-round picks. And then it's like a 4-team trade. A bunch of people get stuff, but Giannis goes on the Hawks. They still have Dyson Daniels. And you trade all of that. You still have Trae Young, Dyson Daniels. You still have Risa Shea. You still have Muhammad Gay. You still have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You still have so many players where you trade all these good Hawks guys, and still that roster is 10 times better than what the Milwaukee Bucks have now, trading nothing for their team.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like I might have.
No,
said
I totally get it.
word jumbo. Like the Rockets. If the Rockets were traded like one of like Amen Thompson, and then like Cam Whitmore at the time, right?
Yeah.
And then 5 or 6 or 7 first-round picks.
Yep.
That team is way better than the Bucks are now, and the Bucks don't even have to trade anything.
Yep.
Why? Like I think Giannis, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it of like a human psychology and stuff, but Giannis is too loyal to the fans because the fans do deserve Giannis. I think the fans have rode with Giannis. They've always sided with Giannis. They've never sided against him. And I think Giannis is only doing this for the fans because he owes this front office nothing.
Yeah.
The only favor they ever did for him was trading for Damian Lillard
Yeah.
just to cut him without letting Giannis know. Just to fire their coach midway through the season when I swear they were playing good. They were like a top 3 seed. They fired their coach midway through the season without telling him.
Yeah.
You're a superstar. Your guy you're paying $65 million a year. The only reason that you have a championship in the last 40 years. 50 years.
50, yeah.
Yeah, 50 years. Giannis is doing a disservice to himself.
Yep.
It quite honestly, I feel a little like I'm embarrassed for Giannis. Like, how are you not asking out? Because the fact that you are the best, in my opinion, I made this clear. I think Giannis is the best player in the league. I really think he is. And the fact that you are the best player in the league and you are projected in my predictions and your predictions to be the 8th seed, it's flat out embarrassing.
Yep. I have nothing to say. I agree.
So maybe it's not a hot take, but goddamn it, it's a heated take. I have some passion in this. I truly
There's some
believe
heat
it.
behind it for sure.
Yeah. We are in the kitchen.
Yep.
We can move on to your third one.
My third one. You're not going to like this. I already know. My third and final hot take, and probably the hottest one of them all.
Really?
Paulo Banchero will be first team All NBA.
Okay, I'm going to give my take before
Yeah.
you explain yours. Because we might go on for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Paulo Banchero is the 3rd best player on his own team.
Gee, get the fuck out of here.
That's genuinely what I believe.
No, that's horrible.
I legitimately think
What do you mean
Franz
he's the
Wagner-
third best player on his team? Desmond Bane and Franz Wagner are better than him.
I seriously think they are. I think Franz Wagner has already shown. Actually, I think both players have already shown he's better. They're better than Paulo. I think everyone loves the idea of Paulo Banchero. I think everyone loves the idea of a 6'10 guy, go-to bucket, Carmelo Anthony, but he's stronger. He can rebound better. But that's not the reality. The reality is he's not a good defender. He's not a good three-point shooter. His mid-range will have like a really good 10-game sample size, and then the rest will be shit. Every single other aspect besides scoring the ball, I think Desmond Bane and Franz Wagner do better. I think Franz Wagner gets actually to the rim better. They're like the same damn height.
You don't think Paulo's a better rebounder?
Well, he's a better rebounder than Bane for sure. Franz, okay, sure, it's 50-50.
What about being
ahead
a
and take
distributor?
it. I would take both Bane and Franz.
That's crazy.
I seriously don't. I feel like I used to not be like this, but sometimes I listen to NBA Nerds, And the nerds can really ruin the game. But when I listen to them talk about Paulo versus Franz, I really think they're right. I really think Paulo has an inefficient game, and it really shouldn't be that way. Because he's a 6'10" forward. He should be getting to the rim at any point. But also, he is a below average free throw shooter. Like, what is his free throw? I actually want to look it up. But you know what? I want to hear you. Why do you think Paulo is a top? So he's a top
Because
5 player.
if you look at the way he was playing before he got hurt last year, he was playing like a top 5 player in the league.
It was 5 games. You're gonna go off these 5 games.
Hey man, injuries affect players a lot.
I swear there was a season that the Wizards started like 8-2, and then they ended up winning 20 games that season.
Probably, yeah. But Paulo's a guy that we already know can play. Like, his stats last year are really hampered by this weird middle stretch where he, came back from injury and was not efficient and not good at all. On the two ends of that stretch, he played really, really good basketball. And no Jason Tatum, obviously. So that opens up, that first team All-NBA spot, right? The Magic, we both agree are going to be good. We both agree they're going to be a top 4 seed, at least, in the East, right?
Yeah.
And this is, like, to elaborate on this more, this also has to do with the narratives. Because we know the NBA and their voters love their narratives, right?
Yeah.
The NBA loves to include guys in their first team All-NBA who maybe are second team worthy, but because their team is good for the first time in a long time and they are the perceived leader of that team, they want them there. Do I believe that Paulo Banchero is the best player on that team? Absolutely, I do. I don't agree with your take that he's the third best player on the team at all. I think he's deserving of an All-NBA spot. I also think that the NBA itself and its voters, if the Orlando Magic are good and Paulo Banchero plays the way he did, or improves on that, will push the agenda of Paulo being a MVP candidate.
But you don't think he'll play top 5? You just think people. You think
I
the fans will.
I think he will play to a top 8 level in the NBA. I think he will be a top 8 player in the NBA. And then I think the additional part of the Orlando Magic being good and the NBA's wanting to push narratives and wanting to have a definitive superstar because the NBA loves its superstars and has been trying to market Paulo as a superstar in the East. And let's be frank here, the East is thin on superstars at this current moment in time. They want to market that other superstar.
Now, I understand this doesn't have to do with the All-NBA stuff because, stats-wise, they might not compare. Do you think Paulo Banchero is better than Evan Mobley?
Yes.
I think that's pretty insane.
It's a difference of opinion. I think Evan Mobley does not have the level of responsibility that Paulo Banchero has.
I agree with that, but the level defensively, I mean, we're talking about the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley. And while being defensive player of the year, averaged 18 points per game, averaged 10 boards, was insanely efficient. I mean, probably shot above like 52% from the field. And then if I had to guess, even like free throw wise, Mobley probably shot better because Paulo, I'm looking at right now, he's around like 74%, LeBron range. Like, let's be real, was like one of his comps. I don't believe in that. I don't even think he's gonna have a top 8 season statistically. You think? I mean, we're talking about Wemby, Shea, not in this order because that's kind of crazy. But Wemby, Shea, Giannis, Luka, Jokic,
Man, Luka's sharing the court with LeBron.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is great. His statistics have not taken that jump.
Do you think he's better than Cade Cunningham?
I think they're on comparable levels. In fact, those were like when I was debating my hot take, it's like either Cade or Paulo is going to be first team All-NBA. And I give the edge to Paulo because of the narrative, right? Because the Pistons were already good last year. And I don't think they're going to take a significant enough jump in the standings to warrant the NBA pushing that narrative.
What does Paulo do better than Cade?
What does Paulo do better than Cade? I mean, I'd say he's a better rebounder.
Okay.
Cade's obviously the better distributor.
Okay.
I think they are relatively on similar planes as scorers, in my personal opinion.
I really don't think so. I understand the Orlando Magic offense was super flawed. And Paulo did have a huge responsibility.
Bane is going to open up the floor a lot for him.
And you can say that, and then that would help Paulo's case of playing better. I still do think Cade is the better player. I mean, I seriously think,
Probably marginal. Yeah, when I think about it, it's like I'd probably say Cade is the better player too.
And you had them. Oh, let me not go back. And you had them as like a 1 seed difference, right, or 2 seed? Difference. The Pistons is the 5
2
seed.
seed. Yeah, I had the Pistons as a 5. No, I had 1 seed difference actually.
So oh yeah, only
But
one
the
seed
Pistons
difference.
were already 6 last year.
And what were the Magic?
I mean, the Magic were like 8.
No, they weren't last year.
They ended up being 7 after the play-in.
Oh right. Oh no, yeah, they were 7. No. Okay. For some reason, I thought they were.
But they were also a
team.
play-in team, and that carries its own connotation, right? Like we say now,
Paulo
the
has a
top
lot more-
6 are playoff teams. That's what we say.
If we talk about narratives, though, I'm not gonna lie. Paulo has a lot more help than Cade. Franz, Bane, Jalen Suggs.
I guess, but that. Do you think? This is a good question, I guess. Do you think people perceive Franz Wagner as a star who are not like
More than-
NBA fans? Do you think a casual NBA fan perceives Franz
More than
Wagner
any
as a
Piston.
star?
They see Bane as a star more than any Piston, and I'd agree with both
Yeah, that's true.
by far. I think they're okay.
But people love Paulo.
I think it'll be exposed. I really think that Bane. I don't see Paulo being because like what? Do you think he'll be like 28, 29 points per game?
Yeah.
I think Franz is going to step it up. I'm just huge on Franz Wagner. I really think that last year was a pretty bad, and he's never been a great 3-point shooter, but yeah, last year was a really bad 3-point year. I think he's going to bounce back, and when that shot is coming back, I think his overall game has gotten better every year. It's just the problem of the jump shot hasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play the hypothetical of if the jump shot comes, but if the jump shot comes, he's getting
and
better every year.
And if Paulo jump shot comes, like
Franz is a better driver than Paulo. I think he's even better mid-range scorer than Paulo. I think he's a better 3-point shooter than Paulo. I seriously think all around he's a better defender than Paulo. Maybe playmaking you can give to Paulo. I'm not gonna lie. The more I kind of think about it, Paulo was a good distributor.
Yeah.
I think at all 3 levels, Franz is better. Every time I watch him, I'm pretty amazed. All the advanced stats say that Franz is better, which I'm not a huge because I don't even know the advanced stats of Desmond Bane. I don't care either because they won like 20 games last season. But I've also just been super impressed with what Bane has done with that Grizzlies team that did nothing. Now, did they win? No, but Bane will put up those stats. He's a guy who doesn't need the ball much to score, which is a huge problem with Paulo's game.
No,
Paulo needs the ball to score. Like he needs the ball,
That's true.
and he'll get the ball. Don't get me wrong.
Don't you think his assist numbers would go up playing with a guy like Desmond Bane?
I'd hope. Maybe he'll be like a 4 or 5 assists per game guy. But I don't
I
think
could see him being closer to 6, 7.
Shut up. Gosh, it's so baited. I mean, we'll see. I mean, either way, they could be the 3 seed, and we would still disagree, honestly. Because I could just be giving all the credit to Franz Wagner and Desmond Bane, and you could give all the credit to Paulo. I will say that I do not agree. He will not be first team. I think max 3rd team. I don't think as much as I think he'll get respect for being the 3 seed. I really do think people will realize how good Bane and Franz is, and they'll see the difference. I mean, yes, injuries did happen last season.
Will they though?
But they'll go from the 7 seed to the 3 seed.
Will
and they added Bane.
because have the Magic. I mean, I could argue semantics all day. I guess I've said what I said. I think the narratives will dictate that Paulo. And I also think he'll play to that level. I think he'll play to the level of being deserving of a first team All NBA selection, at the very least, a second team All NBA selection. I think if they finish top 3 in the East, like I think they will, that narrative will determine that. Because people get sick of the same old, right?
They do.
If Jokic has a
But
down,
there's some players they won't get sick of.
if
They won't get sick of
if
Brunson.
Jokic has a down year, he might not be first team.
I don't know. I actually
You don't think they give it to Wemby instead? If Wemby
It's
has
not,
like,
remember, it's positionless now.
oh, that's true. It
Yeah.
is positionless.
That's why I don't think
Ah.
Paulo's going to be first team. I really don't.
That could be true. Yeah. But it could
don't-
not be true. I could be right. You could be right.
You could be right.
We don't know.
I'm not going to say I'm going to be right because at the end of the day, mine is way more opinion based.
Yeah.
Because they could be the 1 seed
This is-
and no one's going to agree
I'm
with
looking
me.
at this lighting. This is kind of like, I know it's October. This is some ominous ass lighting
I know. No,
with the thunder and everything too.
we need some more.
Yeah.
Go during the day and more lighting.
This is,
but
yeah.
well,
Well, the thunder is coming.
and it's coming next week when we talk about that.
The Western Conference.
Yep.
Yeah.
The better conference.
Yeah.
But I still think the East is super interesting. We will see
Yeah,
who's right.
The East is cool. There's like 2 teams that might actually compete for the finals against the Thunder, but
Oh, like the Cavs and the Hawks? Is that what you
yeah, sure.
We will see. I can't wait for us to win the East, man. But yeah, that's all our hot takes. The only other hot take I actually had was like me. It was what I said earlier about the Pacers dude. Was Andrew Nemhard. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's taking a leap.
Which isn't like a hot,
Yeah, I don't think, and I don't want one of my segments to be about Andrew
it's a
Nemhard.
lukewarm take. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
those are our hot takes. Those are our predictions. I'll be honestly agreed. up until like we got to like that 7 seed. Yeah, we agreed like on almost everything besides the Celtics and then the top 2 we obviously agreed on. But yeah, you were right. He called it before we started recording. He's like, yeah, that 3 through 7 though, like we disagreed a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then our hot takes, we're like polar opposites. So
Pretty cool. I'm excited for the West. I think
we'll see who's right. We might even
disagree a
we
lot
should
more,
do
but-
at the end of the season. We really should not
Go
like a
back
reaction
and
video,
check
but
ourselves.
we should go back. Yeah, we go back. We make a pod going
Yeah.
back to all of our takes before, and even like during the season. And
Yeah,
then
no,
we
I'd
we
love to do
see.
that. Yeah.
No, that'd be fun. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. We are making a podcast every single week. We are also recording and uploading the clips of it. So if you guys want to support, please go ahead. It would mean a lot. And I mean, overall, the last couple of videos have done amazing view wise. So if you continue supporting, that'd be great. And I am tired.
Yeah.
Anything else to say, Cam?
I'm tired too. That's all I got.
Go Raiders.
Whoa, Geno Smith. God, thank God we're not talking football anymore. I would just go on a tired.
Dude, my team's 2-2, and we weren't expected to be Super Bowl favorites, and I'm already done with football. I'm like, dude, when your team loses in football, it actually depresses you.
Oh, we never talked about the Warriors.
Oh, we never
We could save
did.
it for next week.
We'll save it for next week. We'll talk about the Warriors. I mean, it makes sense.
I have a lot to say.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Hawks a lot, so that's fair.
Yeah.
That's good to hear too.
Cool.
But peace out.